Meeting order 5:16 with roll call. You want
Bacon present.
Johnson present.
Zalad here.
Keequam here.
Coin here.
Ours here.
Fig present.
Item 3, approval of the agenda.
Move we approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Johnson to approve the agenda, support by
Coin.
Coin. To approve tonight's agenda, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion's carried, the agenda is approved. Item 4, approval of the regular meeting minutes of June 18th, 2019.
Make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of June 18th, 2019 as presented.
Second.
Motion by Zalad, support by Fig. To approve the meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion's carried. Minutes are approved. Going on to item 5, public comment. Seeing nobody in the galley. So I'll move on. 2 reports, accounts payable for June.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
I'll just cover the East EDA checking, accounts payable first. To Consumers Energy, we made a payment for the Pickard Street corridor for $576.99. And we have a payment for your consideration tonight to Black Electric to install banners on Pickard. That was for $1,595. And then we had a payment to the Union Township Water and Sewer Department for $3,033.15. That was for water to the sprinkler systems on Pickard. We have a payment to CMU Printing Services to design the archway banners that you approved at your last meeting for $120. We're making a payment to Goudreau and Associates for the planning on the Jamison Park upgrades. That's for $1,254. And then we also have a payment prepared for MMI for $1,329.75. That's for park bench and ground maintenance for the month of May and June 2019. We have a payment prepared for Mount Pleasant area CBB. For the Pure Michigan Partnership, that's for $5,000. That's an annual payment. And then we also have a payment for $2,508 to Pleasant Time Herb Farm. That's for their work on the hanging baskets to water and leave the beds out on Pickard, in the Pickard Street corridor. And then we have a payment for $10,138.35. That's to Teelan Turf Irrigation. And that's for several items related to the irrigation system on Pickard to fix and repair, start and check, work on the planter boxes, etc. And then we're also making a payment to Wilson Lawn Care for the mowing out on the Pickard corridor. That's for May and June for $3,600. And a payment for $300 to Yo and Yo for the audit presentation that they did a couple of months ago. So the total accounts payable for the East DDA this month is $29,455.24. Does anybody have any questions on any of those?
Guess I'm trying to figure out the MMI, the park bench ground maintenance for 1329.75, because we didn't really have any waste receptacles on that, and that wasn't their job, just to empty the waste receptacles?
They do clean up around, I'm not sure, I would have to check into it, but I know that they do clean up around these park benches in the grounds, up and down the corridor. It's not just emptying the trash.
Gotcha.
But if you want more detailed information, we can get back to you on that.
Okay.
Not necessarily for tonight, but where's Thielen standing on the upgrading of the irrigation systems? You know, I mean, that's something I'm not gonna ask you tonight to give a report on, but,
You'd like a report later on that?
yeah,
We
next
can do
month,
that.
yeah, I mean, if we're 10,000 this month, where are we sitting on, how far are we along on the upgrade? And they're doing a wonderful job, and there's not many other contractors. But just a status report on where we sit on it.
Okay.
I don't think we ever asked them to upgrade it. I think we just asked them to
Start
fix
up.
it.
Fix it, yeah, make it
Get it to
operational.
work.
Yeah,
Well, they called it upgrade
And
on
they did
the,
not, and they did not have blueprints, so it was
Yep.
kind of a little bit of a
Isn't
confusing.
this part of the startup though?
That's what I'm.
No,
Yeah.
they're taking over somebody else's job, so,
Oh, I
and that's why it's a hard thing to bid.
So hopefully,
What
once
height
they
is
get
it?
it fixed and
Yeah.
we winterize it properly, it should
Yep.
be good to go.
see. Right.
Yeah.
Not to put any pressure on them, just as,
because I think they did the fixing last year. I think this is just general maintenance.
yeah.
Well, if it's a long winter, you know, it's probably had a lot of,
okay.
could have
Yeah.
been abused a little bit, but if it was.
I know they came in without really any blueprints of where the system sits.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, we'll get you an update on the status of the whole sprinkler system, irrigation system.
You want to have a combined motion or separate motion?
I like them separate because
Yeah.
they're separate
Uh,
bank accounts.
Yep, I move that we approve the East DDA check register and payables as presented.
Sport.
Motion by Zalid, support by Johnson to approve East DDA payables from June. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The motion's carried. Bring us through West.
For the West EDA, we're issuing one check to Yo and Yo for $300 for the audit presentation. We did the bill was for $600, we did a 50-50 split on that between the East and the West. So there's a check from the West EDA for $300 for that. And that's all we have this month for the West.
Moved, approve the West DDA bills as presented.
support.
Motion by Zalid, support by Coin. Big.
Yeah.
Beat you like a nanosecond.
We
didn't
sound the same,
okay.
Dave. We sound the same.
I'll give you this one.
Nanosecond.
Second by Fig. All in favor of approving West DDA payables, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion's carried.
All right, I'm moving on to the financials for the East DDA. Looking at the balance sheet, for starters, we have about 1.4 million in cash. And then if you look at your ending fund balance, you have about 1.4 million in fund balance. And then moving on to the revenue and expenditure report for the East DDA, you'll notice that we have the tax captures that were collected throughout the tax year 2018 are now posted in revenues for $408,000. $100,000. So in the revenue area, we're at about 95% of the budget there for the year so far. In the expenditure area, we're sitting at less than 50% of the budget has been spent in that area. And are there any questions on any of the details? Okay, moving on to the West EDA then. There wasn't a whole lot of activity over last month. In the West EDA, there's 1.3 million in cash, and the fund balance is showing about 1.3 million. And then moving on to the revenue and expenditures for the West EDA. We had some interest earned posted in the revenue area for the month, and we also had the tax captures for the 2018 tax year are now showing on the revenue line there. Our revenues in the West EDA are about at 100%, a little over 100% of the budgeted number. And then in the expenditure area, there was an increase of the $300 for the payment for the audit services, the audit presentation. And that about sums it up for the West EDA. Are there any questions on any of that? Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sherry.
So let's let the record show the June financial reports were presented and filed. Six C, we have your board member expiration matrix, which I think we're doing pretty good, keeping it current this year. Item 7, new business discussion on prioritization of Jamison Hall upgrade items. I know last meeting, they went through the presentation, there was a few people absent, so we had everybody's got their email version, I think. Not sure if anybody got to look at it or what your thoughts are. All right, my take on it seems to, I mean, to make it a true, I see where they were heading with it, the whole, to make it into a park, you know? Then it's kind of half program that it is now. A lot of money. But I see where they were, maybe we could do some little round table at what your thoughts are. Initially, I mean, I'm a big systems guy, and so like apparently everything wasn't checked out as far as your building envelope enclosure, water, sewer, utilities, entrances. And so they went right after a lot of architectural and civil remodel.
Seems like a lot of money. I mean, but it still needs some upgrades and to bring it up, because people vote there and, you know, do the things that really are needed. I'm kind of torn on the, like, replace the fence. I mean,
Everything is too much, but we can pick and choose.
yeah, right, yeah, I think, you know, what do we form a committee and get some recommendations, or?
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Sounds like we've got a chairman.
Yeah, Ben.
Ben's the at-large mayor, or
Yeah.
member, he, in the subcommittees.
I'd be willing to be involved with the subcommittee.
Rick Byers, he'd like to.
We got three right there.
And I'll work with it, work with the committee.
I was volunteering, yeah.
Sounds like we have a lot of common thoughts, so we
Yeah.
take care of the things that need to be maintained and make sure everything is
Yeah.
fit and tight and well-maintained, and some of those things that are for window dressing that maybe we don't really need those.
Not so much. No, I,
Even pursue other funding, you know,
Yeah.
and what we do, because
Right.
I just can't, I have a hard time swallowing, this is the business owners, how's this benefiting their, in the,
Yep.
our existence, you know,
Mhm.
and what we do. So maybe if other,
E
township, or maybe 2%, or
Amy,
go for something
you got
else.
it right here at the,
and we can't,
Well, we
can't
just pay
do.
what we can pay for.
Amy right
Not
here.
all of it.
Who sent the,
I,
Kim's?
my only comment would be is I'd rather, with the funds we've got
Kim.
there, like I say, it's
Yeah,
a pretty
this,
extensive
yeah.
budget, but, let's put the money into the building, which is, I think needs some freshening up, and that, is a minimum, and get that up to snuff, and then, like I say, like Van said, the gingerbread around the outside, not so much, but, the building does get, my understanding, gets used quite a bit, and so I think it's in need of an upgrade, so.
There is a parking problem at election day. I like the parking lot thing for just a
Yep.
minor
You
change.
never have too
That-
much parking
Bingo.
too, so.
$60,000, I think I saw down there for parking lot work. That,
Doesn't go very far.
well, it doesn't, but it seems like a.
Got one spot,
for
couple
what
of
I thought
spots.
needed to be done.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, something I thought would be handy is some kind of a historical usage. Would we have anything like that? What the target market's been,
Yep.
who's been using it, and how many, and like the voting precinct, I know it does get,
It's a voting precinct. I generally see wedding receptions, funerals, graduation parties. That's what it's used for the most part. So whatever accommodates that is what we're looking for.
Ball fields get used much?
Not much.
I like the idea, Vance, that you brought up about the parking lot being pretty high on the cost list. And, you know, what is needed, what can be done to really make it better, but yet keep the cost in a mindset that seems reasonable. And that's probably something that could be looked at with several itemized deals. I know the playground equipment seems like a lot too. I'm sure you could spend even more on playground equipment. Easily, it's a big item, but I'm sure that community-based stuff like the Island Park was done for a whole lot less than that. But I think that's another feature that when you do work and you budget out, or you do contracting for projects, there's probably categories that you could put items under that could be classified as building construction projects that might be grouped as a price that might benefit you as a economy of scale. And then there's things like the parking lot that's almost a standalone project, where you can say, hey, when do we want to do this? What's the cost going to be? What do we have to do? And say, let's look at that project as a separate issue.
Can we pay for it sometime when they're already doing something in the neighborhood? Because it's not that big of a job. But it is, I mean, I've never seen all the playground equipment being used, but I've seen people having to park on the street to go vote.
Yep.
Okay, we'll, kick out an email to have my subcommittee meeting here and get a couple of these questions, pursue a couple of them, and then get back next week or next month.
Who's on the subcommittee?
Me, Rick, Ben,
Okay.
Coin.
Dave?
Dave.
Yeah. What's our quorum? 5, we need 6 or 7 for a quorum? 6, okay.
So we can't
We're
have
good.
six.
Yep, yep, no, that's fine, that's what I was asking.
If you need somebody, it's in my neighborhood.
Bob,
There you go.
Sound like the whole board.
And Bob?
And Bob,
Okay,
Where's that put us over?
how many people is that?
5.
that's fine.
You're
Five?
still under
Okay,
6.
we're good.
We're good.
Got enough?
Okay. What else do we have? Anything after that? Pending business? That was it?
Pending business, I would, I guess if it would have been on the agenda, I would have made maybe a motion to amend the agenda slightly. Is that, from my understanding, is that the Lincoln Road project is off the table for this year and is gonna be next year. So with that in mind, I know Vance had brought it up and Marty's brought it up, I've brought it up, everybody that has anything to do with Lincoln Road and Broomfield would love to see that whole thing done at the same time. And so maybe it would behoove us to start pursuing the thought process of doing the north and the south end of that bridge. I mean, do you concur?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hear, hear.
It's an incredible disruption to have to deal with these multiple closures. So from a business standpoint, from, just a standpoint of being a citizen of emergency transportation, I'd just like to see it all done at once.
How much does something like that cost to do the whole thing? Roughly, I can't remember the estimate. Any
Well,
idea?
you're probably gonna
Rough,
be at
just
least,
ballpark.
I think they're over $1 million on the south side now, aren't they?
Yeah, but that includes some work down on Broomfield, I think.
Right, yeah, so there's the intersections, which are always
Yeah.
expensive, and then you got the.
Storm sewer's in on the north and the storm sewer wasn't in on the south.
Yep.
So that would be a decrease.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you're probably looking, what, 2.5, 3 million anyway? For the
All
whole thing?
total.
All total?
Yeah, I can't see it being more than that.
Yeah,
I'd say you're probably on the high side for altogether, but
it just depends on what the
I
price
don't know
of,
really what all they're doing.
what the price of liquid's
Yeah.
gonna be.
Yeah.
It seems like the stumbling block is the money, the grouping of the funding, and then the delay in getting that all in line to happen at a particular time, or a year even. And so, you're right down the path of doing it with logic, but then there's also the procedure part of it that seems to be a big roadblock, impediment, or getting to it. But when you're talking about it, bringing funding in it, would that include the state if it's coming up to the intersection? So is
I
that,
think the funding's there, isn't it? For what we're doing. And the-
For what-
I think they
Yeah,
have it all
south side,
programmed, and it
yeah.
was just a matter of the timing of getting, you might say, the grant, their appropriation, however you want to term it.
does that have to be the state then that's the issue to
Correct.
clear?
Yes,
Who, then does the county apply for the state funds?
yes.
Okay, and the county would be part of it then too?
Yes. The county is really the major part of it. They're the receiver, and they put the projects together, and there'll be different categories of funds, so they'll identify safety funds, for instance, for the work down at the Broomfield intersection. They'll identify capacity improvement categories for being able to do the widening and get some more capacity. There'll be different categories that they're trying to peg, and like Marty said, they might not all jive when they're available at the same time, so then they have to do a little manipulation in order to get an appropriation or an obligation of funds, and to be able to tie that up until they can get another obligation to do the other end. There'll be a little timing, a little dance that they're gonna have to do, but I think it can be done.
I think if we put
That's
the
the important
impetus that
part.
we would like to have it done, then they react typically to our requests. It's not the other way around, so, I mean, it'd be worthwhile, right, to walk down that road and see if it can be
Absolutely,
done.
there's
Oh,
no
yeah.
reason why we wouldn't go that road. I mean, they're gonna be able to do it or they're not, but
Yeah.
if we don't try,
Mhm.
It won't happen.
shame on
We'll have
us.
to
Yeah.
have
Definitely
Yeah.
won't
two
be able to
summers
do
will
it.
go by if they try to do two
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could safely say that you'd cut at least 25% of the total construction time if you do it all
Oh,
together as opposed to
absolutely.
two separate.
Yep,
It won't take as
absolutely.
long as the bridge, though, will it?
It shouldn't, no.
No.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, when you say,
The bridge did take.
when you say time, that's relative to cost also,
Absolutely.
so,
Yeah.
you know,
Is
it all
is
goes together.
But if you have, like, when you're doing the job, do you have stuff going on in both ends when you're doing it, or is it, do you bring in more equipment, or what?
It would be.
I would think so. You certainly have the
Yeah, you'd have
opportunity, there's big enough
opportunities,
areas to do that.
And, you know, it gives you greater opportunity for concurrent operations to go on. So they
Right.
start grading, I mean, just in that, they can start at M20, start grading to the south. By the time they get to the bridge and have that grade ready, they can have a curb crew back starting to bring curb.
Right.
And then by the time they get graded all down to Lincoln Road, the curb guy's right behind them with the curb. But,
Right, right.
It would be a radical staging, sequencing,
Mhm.
manipulation of the schedule. You're talking, sounds to me, if we were to try to attempt this, we pursue this one on the funding, capitalization schedule, see if it's even realistic. You know, if the funding's there, that maybe borrow money until the other funding gets there, if it's from the next fiscal year kind of a
Yep.
thing. Let's see if that side works, then you jump into, Dave saying, the engineering side. That's another animal in itself. You're talking radically changing probably what the whole sequencing
I-
thoughts are on their current
Right, you've
design.
got, from the appropriation process, but I think they have, the county has been working on that whole design, so they've got, I'm not saying they got construction drawings, but they have, at least a preliminary design, taking it all to M20. So they've got
Oh, yeah,
that
I mean,
work
I'm
done.
certain. The design, I'm talking just the
Oh,
design
yeah,
of
trying to get
sequencing.
it, yeah,
and
trying to get it back in
This
the,
has to be done before that's done,
Yep.
and then we do this part, then we flip.
Yep.
You know, what I mean, you guys, everybody starts going, done that, and then they flip. Storm has to be done first, underground first,
yeah,
all that, and they're gonna go, they're probably gonna want some more money. Who's the lead designer? Is that
I'm
county
not
or
sure who they're
MDOT or, I'm not sure myself, but it'd be,
I think it's a county.
I think
It's
county is, I
doing-
think.
maybe
Yeah, I think-
sit
I
down
think
with
that is.
Tony and Gaffney and
Mhm.
run it by the trustees, so we're all on the same page, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
so
think,
while
you know,
we're on that topic,
yeah.
if we're gonna be talking to them, just an FYI, an informative thing, that there has been no discussion between the road commission and the contractor for the work that we are hoping to get done on this north end of Lincoln Road this year.
Really,
Just FYI, just check that.
That's just the overlay.
Yeah.
Their
That was-
schedule's filling up.
That was
It is,
budget,
but I mean, that's.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
that was budgeted already, wasn't it?
That was budgeted a year ago.
Yeah,
and
last
there was
fall.
there was never any contract given to the contractor last fall, and then we did it again this spring, and there has been nothing contract-wise committed for that.
Weather is important, what's ideal time, because right now the traffic's not as heavy, I wouldn't think,
You would think?
yeah. Before August, what, 20th or so?
So what is?
That's
is
not
that
far off.
another Memo from the county to the township? An agreement?
I think that we've communicated, I believe that the township has communicated to the county that we approved the budget that they gave us for that work.
Because it was an increase, right? It was like, it
Well,
went from
they-
100,000 to like 120 or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but and in the end, I think that it appears to be way over budgeted, but that's neither here nor there, you gotta have a budget. The link that's missing is the communication from the county to the contractor to have the work performed.
They haven't asked, I mean, they haven't asked you yet?
No. They usually actually bring a contract over, and they'll give us a contract that this,
Well, call Tony and say, where's the contract?
I don't know if that's my position.
No.
I'll call him.
Well, the point is that if we're gonna pursue doing the whole thing, did you wanna do the overlay?
No, we're just talking this right here, right?
North of
Yeah.
20.
Talking.
North of-
Oh,
Just this.
Oh,
Just
this, I'm
just
sorry.
this
I
north
thought
of
you-
that.
I
No,
was thinking north of the bridge.
no, we're
That's
just talking
fine.
this piece
Okay.
here from,
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay, no,
this is just an overlay.
yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
it's easy for me to
That's
say
different,
just
yeah.
an overlay, but it's, you don't have to do anything to it, you're just
They
laying
they
it
had a
out.
little bit of milling set up to be able to preserve the curbs out here, so they'll just take a mill along and for about
Cut it
6
down.
foot away, taper that back down into the gutter pan
Right.
to preserve that.
Okay.
So, Tom, you're gonna be contacting the road commission
Yeah.
on that? Okay.
See what's going on there. Anything else on that?
So
Nice
what
little
are
bag
the,
worms opened.
what are the steps then, if we like to pursue looking at Lincoln Road, north and south of the bridge? I mean, if that's something that we would like to pursue, do we go to the township? I don't know the steps. We go to the township board and propose it, or how's that work?
I like, because we're a subsidiary of the trustees, I like to make sure they're on board with the idea. for
Yeah.
starters.
Yeah, that's
They're gonna
You
sign
know?
the contract, so.
Yeah.
And
I
if
mean-
that's okay, then
Then the county.
we on to the county
And the
road
state.
commission. And
so
I
we
mean,
go-
we could get a lot of basic questions answered, as far as funding source, timing of the capital. And
The
then-
concept has already been presented to the board here from the road commission. I think you were aware of that,
Yeah.
about what they wanted to do, okay.
Yeah, they came in, what, 2 years ago? Was it last year?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's worthwhile for us to at least ask the question, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's
Yeah.
doing our due diligence as we got a contractor here, we got a developer, I should say, that is putting an awful lot of money in to that corner, you know, with some future projects it'd be. And our increase in our tax capture is directly involved with what they're doing, so I think it would behoove us to, you know, address that, you know, at a time when it's necessary. And I know with Fisher Transportation, I know that the concept of losing that road and having to go down High Street, Mission Street is not good for residents, right?
Correct?
Well, I
Put on
think
big-
everybody
right.
can clearly
Put on-
see that the cost savings is the big advantage. There's nothing but cost savings to be realized from a business perspective and from an installation perspective. It's just gonna be a big savings. Rerouting traffic for only one season. That's a big reroute
Maybe
there.
initially, just like going back to Rick, maybe we had to put together a little letter from the board, signed by myself, to the trustees, just to get it formalized. Maybe Mark could help us with that, right? And then send it to the trustees, get on the same page with them, and then set up a kind of a joint meeting and see if we can't shake it up.
You know, worthwhile to have representative from the road commission in here at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, whether it be Pat or Tony or whatever.
So I'm just thinking then that letter would kind of explain our position, that we're all on the same page as the East and West
Yep.
EDA, and that can start going upstream. So, we'll work on that, email it out, maybe try to get something going for next meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. That gives them plenty of time. I figured that this project wouldn't go until probably, what, May, June, July next year, probably at the earliest, the way it sounds.
I'd hope it would be out at least by the March letting, just,
Would you think they do that before school's out, though?
oh, absolutely.
Would they go
I
ahead
don't-
and start it early?
I don't, they're not the city of Mount Pleasant, they want to get it done in the
Yeah.
shortest amount of time, so I would say,
Early as possible.
yeah, get it going
Mhm.
early.
Yeah.
Just-
Gotcha.
It's,
Do you report this, Tom, do you do this in letter, saying it's general consensus of this board, that, or do you need a motion? This is,
I'm just, we could let the record show now, there's a consensus to pursue this.
Yep.
yeah, good with me,
Yeah, we can all sign it.
yeah.
Yep.
that's fine.
That'd take another week.
Ambush
Yeah,
them with
let's-
a,
that's a little more of a
ambush them with a
logistic,
petition.
Yeah, yeah.
Marty, you can sign it. Just let Tom-
So I guess you guys are right with that consensus.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Want to hear
Yep.
about- Okay, you got the,
Whatever that's worth.
okay,
Yeah, it's worth
anything
something.
else?
Yep, I would hope so,
Yeah.
especially if Daniel's some dollars out there, so.
So we good?
Sounds good.
Call the meeting to order?
Well done.
Everybody done?
Yep.
All right, let's break at 5:53 and we'll see you next August 20th.
August 20th.